All right. Session 7 of Part 5 of Hoard of the Dragon Queen in the Tyranny of Dragons campaign set for 5th edition is about to start. Make sure you have a comfortable seat, grab yourself a drink, some food, some snacks. Sit back, the Tavern League. Dungeons and Dragons! Yes, that is right. Absolutely correct.
And get turned on in the process.
I think that may be where he got this from, because he played this cleric kind of like that, you know, like always trying to get to the front, because this character was kind of a sadomasochist, like wanting to get hit, and was kind of like, oh yes, you know, I mean, like, you know, yeah. So it was, maybe that's where he got it from.
He probably, Konosuba is a very popular anime, so he probably got it from that.
He's a big anime fan, so you know, maybe
you should ask him.
Anime.
Write it down and ask him about it, just to like surprise the fuck out of him.
That would be an interesting character to play. Like, just get excited by getting attacked, like.
Not just excited, literally sexually, like.
Yeah, he almost played it in a sexually, like, you know, kind of like you know, this is really kind of turning me on kind of way, you know. I mean, and it was creepy but fun, you know. I mean,
Ryan always comes in the middle of the best discussion.
I know, I love it.
Because I was like, where do you guys get here?
Well, it started off with talking about the rain.
Kind of weird how we got there. Yeah, how we got there
makes perfect sense.
So we went from rain to anime porn. Yeah.
Oh
okay.
Yeah.
No. Not
as long
porn.
as there's no hentai, no tentacles, I'll just mute those conversations.
Well, yeah, we were going there next. Just so you know. I think
I'm gonna have to come in with you guys muted.
It's on the docket.
Yep.
Ryan, I like your glasses.
Thank you.
I have Twitch open.
Yeah, these are blue light blocking glass.
Ooh, those are really good for you.
Yeah, those are. I have those for my regular glasses for like nighttime driving and blue light.
Oh, say, talking about coming in muted, you're playing an ad right now. Or it's playing an ad, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, something that I've noticed, like if you go off of it and then come back on, it will play an ad when you first arrive again.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, those are sharp-looking glasses, right?
Oh yeah, those are called pre-roll ads. I have to run ads in the middle of a rid of the. After you go. There we are.
I'm just racking up those stream points.
Same.
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, so I used them yesterday.
I think you should add a saving throw in for like 2,000 points.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna add a few more things kind of like that, for more points. So like the health potions I think I have it like 1,000.
It's 1,200.
1,000. Yeah.
And I have it set so that it changes depending on how many people are in chat. Also, like the more people, it'll cost more.
That makes sense.
Something like that. All right. So, Hoard of the Dragon Queen. We are in part 5. It's called Construction Ahead. These heroes are on their way north, in between Waterdeep and Neverwinter, cutting through the Mere of Dead Men, of which they are just now in sight. First off, let's get some historian checks.
Got it.
Go. I'm touching my nose, by the way.
Right. So Uthar was S. Right. 3, 2, 1. We rolled Freddy.
Hey.
You didn't touch your nose.
we'll give you the historian tag and look forward to reading your historian for next.
Is John not joining us this week?
I'm here.
Oh, I didn't hear you pop in.
You're always so quiet.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Where's
And
John?
apparently
Oh, okay.
I'm the ditzy one today.
That's because Russians are always so quiet when they come into a room.
You
You
never
apparently
know.
didn't like our weird
KGB.
turned on character thing.
It'd be awesome if like with our was on a boat called the KGB.
Oh my god.
No, the Kremlin.
The Kremlin.
And then like the boat's about to take off and someone says, "Hey, someone's coming, we should wait." He smacks him in the face, says, "The KGB waits for no one."
It's the Red Star, by the way.
And if you watch The Office, you'll get that.
Okay. Oh, my Hoard voice is quick.
Weird.
I mean, like for my stream, the overlay.
Also, I ask you guys, how annoying is it hearing me talk, like Jake and I
Very.
talk to each other's headsets now and then?
Oh, never mind. I was
'Cause
just
I'm-
being sassy.
No,
I'm-
I don't really
I'm-
hear any cross on that.
You don't?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wasn't hearing you at all.
Well, I
Why
just want
is
to make
that
sure
now?
because I was thinking about experimenting with push to talk because we're in the same room and I don't want that to be a like annoyance. So if it ever does get bad, just
Oh. Oh, there we are. Why is this widget now? There we go. You guys can all hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Did he say something?
Huh?
Ha ha.
You're old whippersnapper.
Oh my god. All right. Anyway, man, it's too early. Many things. Okay, so
Old grandpa spider.
Freddie's got an historian, and I think that leads pretty well into his character description. Go ahead and tell us about your character.
Oh man, now stop. Give me a sec. Hello, I'm Sauerkraut, and I play Freddie Bloomington, half-elf bard / warlock of the College of Lore Hexblade subclasses. He's a jack of all trades type who's out for redemption, fame, and glory, so that he may eventually return to his homeland.
Much.
Mhm.
Oh, that's me. Hi, I'm Otto. I play Hawkeye, who is a wild hunt shifter druid of the Circle of the Stars. And she just really loves her animals and doesn't really know necessarily what's going on. Like, she does, but at the same time, she's more of, well, how does that exactly work? Because she isn't really into the whole society.
Mhm.
It's just
Thing.
really boring.
So she likes to have fun, and she feels really lonely because people. So she grabs all the
Hey,
animals
thank you
she
so
can
much,
get.
Drake. Damn,
So right now she has a
252
fox
bits.
and a pigeon, but she's
Thanks,
looking
man.
for more.
Right, next we have Ondar.
Hello, everyone. I am Old Jarhead. My character is Ondar Stillhawk, a human paladin of Torm, a young man who hails from Tether, a country far to the south of the land that we are currently in. He is a member of the Lord's Alliance and is on the trail of these villainous cultists. He is joined with the rest of this merry band of do-gooders. Well, he hopes they're do-gooders. He's not too sure of this half-elf. He's pretty sure of the full elf, and he thinks that the other human, the druid, is just lost. He thinks that, well, he's still finding out about the new joinee, And he's very sad about his friend, the half orc that left him. He's still getting over that.
That is a terrible, terrible thing to lose a friend. Noct
It's
is
like a
not
piece of
dead.
paper.
But
Noct
don't
is
start
not
him
dead,
about
but-
the shield.
Yeah, don't. All right, next. Get a description from Ireva.
Hello, my name is Nicole. I play Ireva Galanadel, a wood elf ranger of the Horizon Walker subclass. Ireva, through most of her life, lived in her home forest, and when her people received word of this cult looking to raise the Dragon Queen, she was sent on a mission to put a stop to this and ran into the crew she is currently working with in this goal. She is slow as any other to trust any other living beings, but is finding small amounts of trust in her comrades, whether she'll admit that readily or not.
Slowly but surely. After a couple months together, maybe those bonds are finally being formed. We do have a new face, Uthar. Please tell us about your character.
Yeah, I'm John, and I play Uther Fearbolg. Yes, the new add to this party. He's an ex-pirate, well, an ex-slave pirate, and a cleric of the storm, and swashbuckling rogue. He's currently traveling with these folks in hopes of finding a specific member of the cult that he has some personal business with, and he's frankly tired of not sleeping all night.
Quite frankly, you don't get attacked out on the ocean. All right.
Well, you do, but it's by a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you do usually die.
Very true.
Yeah, you see them coming from a ways off. You have some warning there, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine the
All these fucking
anticipation?
trees around you, you can't see
You can't
anything.
even
That's the
see.
problem.
Could you imagine the anticipation of seeing like an enemy ship coming at you, like from miles away? Take like so
As
much
a
time.
sailboat and just be
Yeah.
like, it's hours from now.
We'll fight them this afternoon.
But
I am
to
gonna
us
have
in about
lunch first.
3 hours.
You got time for a nap, boys.
All right.
Sleepy boys.
And
I love
so,
maps.
these 5 adventurers from last time on Hoard of the Dragon Queen, we traveling north fought some different creatures. It seems like they want to be attacked. The caravan wants to be attacked like every other hour. This is a savage, tame wilderness. Hawkeye had begun the session as she was about to go out and try to find herself a bear friend. Actually found the suspected red wizard on the outskirts during one of his meditations. He did not seem overly aggressive or even to care a whole lot, but a short exchange of words as he was somewhat dismissive of her, just finding her like, hey, this is a dangerous wilderness, like, I'm not going to stop you, you do whatever you want, but pretty treacherous to walk around in the middle of night in this country. Hawkeye, kind of watching her words a little bit, fled back to camp. As she was on her way back to camp, they were actually attacked in the middle of the night by more lizard folk, giant lizards. They fended off those creatures, at which, at the end, Hawkeye let known that she had encountered the Red Wizard. And after a bit of an exchange, because it was on her watch that this happened, the other players are kind of like, oh my god, he was in our camp, why didn't he wake us up? And she's like, not exactly. Reva name dropped. Said no,
Yeah,
she
threw
was
me under
not.
the bus.
Yep, threw her under
She's
the bus.
not a
No,
liar.
she wasn't. He wasn't in the camp. Hawkeye was out wandering. So there's a little bit of perhaps mistrust brewing in between the party members. but it doesn't seem to be affecting them, maybe not quite yet. For upon the morrow, as they were traveling north, they encountered another band of orcs and ogres attacking the wagon. So that brings us to present moment, as the heroes are standing over the slain orc bodies.
Anyone hurt?
I mean, from Ureva's shot at Freddy, I don't know.
What?
I'm actually okay. Carlin seems a little hurt.
Hundar will
Are you hurt, dude?
step over.
Harlan replies, my knee extended awkwardly. I think I'll be all right. If I could get some heals, I wouldn't mind.
Hundar will just kind of touch him, in a very friendly manner. He will slap his hand on his shoulder rather forcefully and lay on hands once
In a friendly manner.
and twice.
Oh, now he's fully healed.
Oh, kind of cracks his neck a little bit, stretches and rubs his knee. Thank you, friend.
Comrade will suffice.
Comrade, certainly.
Yeah, girl.
These creatures
will.
keep coming at us from as if we are invading their lands.
We are.
Yes, I've heard that this is exactly what we do.
Are we the bad guys?
That depends. You can speak to them, yes?
Speak what they call a language, yes. They
Well, then
keep
yes, I
talking
believe
of,
we are attacking a sentient creatures, yes.
I don't know if I would use the term sentient. All they screamed was, kill the fair-haired one.
That does seem
That's
problematic.
rude.
What is
What
fair hair?
What did I ever do to them?
They weren't talking about
He
you.
is fair? We
He
all
said
have
good
hair
to hear.
here.
I mean, Andar, your hair is pretty light.
Andar shakes his head. He does the the Fabio
like
thing.
flowing locks on the wind.
They were talking about my hair, guys.
The little hair flip and the bangs just like tousle right in the correct spot.
Yes. They were
Hitting
speaking.
Carlin in the face.
Yeah, right.
Why is your hair special? This one has, and I'm pointing at Freddy, this one has more hair than you. He is very hairy, man.
Andar literally looks at Uthar and says, really? And he does it again. And it just like out of nowhere, this like wind blows.
Perhaps if we give them your hair, they will not attack us anymore.
I don't think so.
Not
Andar
these
was
ones.
like,
These
no,
ones
no,
are
he's-
dead.
shoot that down real quick.
He's onto something. If your hair is so great, fabulous, and valuable, we can just
You mean
provide people with it.
What do you mean if? Yeah, he's getting personal. He's like got the shield in one hand and he's stroking his hair with the other.
I will walk away.
Doesn't
Slowly.
even like fully realize it. It's just like a thing that you do. It's part of your manner.
Right.
Ureva will say, perhaps we should worry less about whose hair they're concerned with and focus on just making sure they go down. In our defense, they are the ones going on the attack. We have yet to hunt them down. They are coming for us. So I do not feel bad about taking them down.
I don't feel bad about it either, but I'm trying to make sure that we get where we need to go and do what we need to do.
Agreed.
We shall not lose to the likes of them.
Oh no, we will not.
At least not willingly. Die trying.
Right. So as you all are kind of gathering yourselves from this battle, the rest of the caravan seems to have fought off their part of the orcs. There was a heavier grouping of these orcs against you this time. And so it sounds out as Briffer Hugh once again gives warning or caution that we should probably put some distance between this location and wherever you guys are going to stop. It is earlier in the morning, likely just before noon.
I think he is right. Let us keep going. We must make haste.
Oh, back on the Sword Coast map, we're able to move up. Oh shoot. You can get
Yeah, I
that
realized
fixed.
it last. I already did. I just didn't want it to be a surprise when I hit somebody and rolled more dice.
Yep, gotcha.
I did think I was doing a lot less damage than I should have at level 3. And then I looked at it and was like, oh, because I am.
All right, so you guys move up along the trail, keeping watch to the edges and trying to hear any sounds. You hear the crows and some of the carrion. Say carrion. Carrion ain't the right word.
We fought this earlier.
So
that was yesterday.
carrion crawlers. So you hear the crows and some of the wildlife roving around, giving you a sign that there isn't anything waiting in the woods. After a full day of travel northward, you find an area where it might be a good idea to make camp. Well secluded and gives a good look across the land. Spot anything coming from edges. So the caravan stops for the night. You guys are able to erect tents and such. Your character's on the map, right? Sorry.
That guy's gonna walk into her own little tent.
Make sure your microphones are close enough to your mouth, guys, just so that we can hear you clearly.
I think Freddy's gonna make some dinner.
Right. Loud. Why is that so loud?
There's intermittent strumming of his lute while he's like waiting for things to cook.
Loot, huh?
Knowing Freddy's cooking.
Stroking his lute real pretty like.
God.
Aldar will walk away from that.
There we go. Knowing Freddy's cooking, I do good berry.
Okay.
Hey, my cooking is delicious. Might not be nutritious.
Arlen speaks up. You know, Freddy, your cooking is definitely interesting, but the way you play that lute, I could listen to that forever.
Just don't watch it.
Tell me, where did you learn to play?
Oh, here and there. This is a part of my upbringing. My dad forced me to learn.
Interesting.
Do you know any instruments?
I do not. I spent my time working in many of the fields. Farmhand. Family was not so well off. I only learned what I could about survival and joining the Harpers, and they've aided me a little bit, but not quite as fancy a swordsman as you, to be sure.
Well, I don't know about that. I really don't know much about wielding a sword. I focus mostly on just, putting my arcane power in it.
Do well. As the rest of your group are quite a fearsome bunch. Thank the gods that it was you that found me in the road. Don't think I would have lasted much longer. Weren't for the fortunes that you have bestowed upon me, aiding in this quest. I have no doubt we will take down what remains of the cult, eke them out from this swamp.
In their defense, it's an apt place to have a evil lair. In the middle of a mire, surrounded by trees, the fog, the mist. Travelers coming through here.
Yes, I find myself wondering quite often what sort of castle would be in a swamp. Not sure we would find something that lives up to our expectations when we look upon it.
No, my guess is something old. Something that was built when this place wasn't necessarily such a bog.
May have a point there. Now, as the darkness is kind of encroaching, it is probably around 9 or 10 at night. You all wish to begin watches.
I forget our watch order. Was Freddy first, normally?
What you guys have is Freddy, Ireva, Ondar, Hawkeye, and then...
Yeah, okay. So once the meal's done, Freddy eats his full, offers to the rest of the group if they want it or not, doesn't matter. And
Ondar thanks you.
we'll take charge of setting a patrol around the camp.
Right. One thing, so Ireva, because of your trance, you need the 4 hours. It might make more sense for you to go later.
Okay.
Maybe because Ondar wants to wake up for midnight. Ondar goes second. You go third. I think that takes care of it.
Ooh, I get to wake up to the wonderful Undar, huh?
Ondar wakes up automatically about 10 minutes before midnight.
Yeah. This way, you'll be able to take your walk.
I can do
No
that.
problem.
Okay.
Right.
Then I will wake up Ondar instead of Ureva.
Very well.
Right.
Whatever works the best for the company of heroes.
And Carlin speaks up again. Oh, tired. I think I will retire to my camp.
It's all our camp.
I think he means his tent.
I knew what he meant, but I'm just...
He
Retire
must
to
be
my
really, really tired.
my tent. Wake me up when they come. You'll be
What
home.
about September?
And then, and then you can kind of hear him grumbling. He's like, I've been asleep for the longest time. Always being broken up by these. Ready. May begin your watch. Go ahead and roll me a d6. Followed by... Or roll me a d20.
A D20. All right.
20. Followed by a perception.
Ondar is resigned to the fact that he will not get a full night's sleep anyway, so he stays in his armor.
And Ireva is grateful that she does not need a full night's sleep.
Right, Freddy.
Hey.
You
Okay.
are you're walking around camp and taking note of anything that might pose a threat or other such. Find nothing. Nothing of note. 2 hours have passed and it is encroaching midnight. Now Ondar's.
All right. Freddy will check to see that Ondar is up.
That was quick.
You see Ondar already getting out of his tent, setting up for.
Good morning. Night was clean. Nothing to report. Enjoy your
Thank you.
parrot.
Always. Commuting with Torm is wonderful.
I have no doubt. The gods have blessed us all so far.
And he goes into it, does his ritual, faces Tantris. Well, he doesn't do that till midnight first, so he's going to do his watch first, right?
Well, it is midnight. You waking up at midnight.
Okay. Oh, okay. So he does his prayer. Then he does his watch.
Please roll me a d20 followed by a perception check. Are by the campfire light. It is still burning rather nicely to illuminate the surroundings. Paying close attention to the edges of the woods, peering into the darkness as best you can and listening. 2 hours of making rounds around the camp. Nothing has disturbed you. You may return to pass off watch to
Lady Elf.
And Yureva's eyes are. She just because she knows humans find it weird, she keeps her eyes closed, but they open very peacefully when he approaches. Andar, time for watch for me?
It is, Lady Elf, yes.
Anything interesting of note this evening?
Unfortunately, no. Although you probably already knew that.
Well, there have been nights with interesting happenings that didn't need to wake us all up, but I'm glad to hear there have been none.
The druid is still in her tent.
Thank you so much, and you enjoy your rest. You've earned it.
We all have.
Reva will, well, just get up and start wandering around. No needing to light any fires or anything.
The fire is still burning. Ondar did not let it go out.
Oh, okay. She'll keep the fire going as she does her watch because other people.
Grava, you are benefiting from a rest.
Yeah.
Oh, well, whatever.
No, I think it only gave her the long rest. It just built out XP.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, that's correct.
Yeah.
Ava, please roll me a d20 followed by perception check.
Well, did that roll or just no? Okay, there. Oh, my first one was a 15. That's not cool.
Maybe that's good. You don't know.
It's never good. That's not.
Yikes.
Do you hear Ryan
She's not
chuckle? It's
prepared
not good.
today. She's not prepared.
That's very un-elf-like, Lady Elf.
You're sleeping, Freddy. Shut up.
Shut up. You're asleep.
I was talking in my sleep.
Talk shit in your sleep.
You would. All right, she's just gonna do cirkies.
Turkeys?
Cirky.
They're like circles,
I
but
thought you said
more
burpees.
exciting.
It's like I don't think you should be getting that tired.
well, she did get a long rest, so
I don't know, man. Burpees will mess you up.
oh yeah, they will.
I hate these.
I hate them. I love them,
When
but
it's
hate
them, there's some kind of torture that we pretend is exercise.
No, I won't do them. I told Jake we can work out, but you make me do burpees, we're done. Marriage over.
They're such good workout.
You know
Not
what? I'll stick
wrong,
to my
but
kettlebell
it's not worth
swings.
it.
Like you do 10 of them and you're tired. Like what other exercise will do that?
No,
You do
I
20
do
of them,
10
you'll
of them
throw up,
and
so
yeah. I do 10 of them and I go on a murder rampage.
you're not catching anybody. You're too tired to
That's
catch
actually a
anybody.
good point.
Okay, so Rava, that perception score, you are peering out into darkness, trying to gain insights on any information, listening to anything that might pose danger. You hear possibly the sound of a large creature moving towards you from the south.
Okay. I will. Don't want to wake my companions for no reason. I will pull out my bow and arrow and, like, try to be stealthy and like sneak in the tree and sneak like further, but like concealing myself.
Hey, go ahead and make me a stealth check.
I thought you'd ask that.
Ooh. Are you trying to see what this is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, make me another
Trying to see what it is and hide.
Try to make me another perception.
Yes, I see it.
Ooh.
Went from like 1 to
That's not
20.
bad.
All right, Dice, you live to see another day.
Sorry, I gotta.
Uh-oh.
It's just a Dracolich.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing big, you know.
Oh no, you have
Worry
like the
about-
creepiest music going on too. Like, am I gonna find vampires, werewolves? Who knows?
This is the Sirenscape for Curse of Strahd.
Don't
Like, I like
bad.
it, but
That explains it.
Yep, that's why
It's
it's all
nothing.
creepy.
Nothing to worry about.
Nothing
Very
to
fun.
worry about.
It's just
Yeah, I
a
don't-
little neighbor coming to say hello, blah, blah.
I think I'm one of the only ones that doesn't know what Curse of Strahd is. Maybe Otto doesn't, but that's
I
it.
do. That
It's
was my campaign that I did before that I only had like 2-3 sessions of.
It's probably the most famous D&D campaign, but it's also probably one of the darkest.
I'll say this is the only campaign I've ever done, so I wouldn't know it.
Depends. I mean, you know, you could do it as a comedy if you wanted to.
There's a Dracula dead and left.
Depends what kind of DM you have.
Yeah, see, every campaign depends on your DM, but if you play it like as the module was originally intended, it's very dark.
Yeah.
Well, good thing I have night vision.
Right, Ureva, as you peer out into the darkness, you see the forms of humanoids creeping forward, trying to be stealthy. You do spot them all. There are 6 orcs and 1 ogre. Ogre is having a difficult time being.
Imagine that.
Okay. As soon as I recognize them, I will sprint as quietly, but sprint as quickly as I can back to camp, and I will just yell, "Wake, comrade! There are more orcs and ogres coming our way. Don your armor and help.
Everybody roll me initiative.
No, I mean, it's stupid dwarfs and they're fucking thinking attacking us in the night and I just wanted to sleep.
Right.
And she still has her bow out too.
As the orcs hear Ireva sprinting back and give warning, suddenly you hear their war cries.
And as soon as she hears the war cry, well, we don't have direction facers, just kidding. I would say she turns around and faces them with like bow and arrow in hand, but I don't know if that matters. Just say she does it for fun.
A bonus action, move up to his speed. Four, 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Ooh, and he can attack. He is going to swing his great axe at Ireva. Ireva dodges out of the way.
We have like just a lot of speed.
That is a special feature that they have for being orcs. They can run their speed as a bonus action.
Okay.
5, 10, 15, 35, 15, 5, 30. He will rip into the tent, trying to hit Carlin. Ooh, that's a crit with a critical hit effect. In addition to standard critical hit damage, your target is dazed until.
Oh,
Not this from yesterday.
Can I do cutting
Dazed
words
is not
on this?
in 5th.
No, I'd probably he would lose a turn and be like stunned or whatever because they're
Yeah.
stunned.
I just heard dazed and I was like,
Yeah,
oh no, drama.
I'll change that to stunned. Hey,
I'd like to do cutting words on the damage on this.
okay, go ahead and roll.
Wait, shit, is it a D6 or D8?
Language, honey.
what?
It's D6.
Is D6 still? Oh.
Yep.
Are we a PG now?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, we are certainly not.
Family
All right,
friendly all
-4
of a
from
sudden.
that.
Yeah, family friendly. Especially the beginning.
Well, I was in a stream that was PG once, and I was like, I had to go leave.
Dang.
All right, you hear Carlin as he's trying to get up. More orcs from the woods. You guys rolled well.
Yeah, they
5,
did.
10, 15, 20, 25,
Or we
30,
rolled bad.
5, 15, 20,
Oh, no.
25, 30.
Or both.
This guy. 5, 10, 15. 5, 30. All right, Ondar, you are prone on the ground. You hear these orcish brutes yelling their battle cry coming into camp just after 2 a.m. in the morning, I would, or just after
Okay.
1 in the morning.
All right. Ondar will, of course, thinking ahead, figured this was going to happen. That's why he slept in his armor this night. He will stand, and you can put me in whatever square you wish. Okay. He's only got 15 feet of movement left. He will take prone off of me. Let's see. Ooh. Go here. He will ready in action. Well, he will cast as a bonus action Divine Favor.
Okay.
Because he ain't got but one spell slot left. And he will ready in action to swing at the first stupid orc that comes near him.
What if it's a smart orc?
He will swing at the first enemy that comes within range.
Okay.
Quick point of order. Carlin doesn't have initiative.
Oh. Be important.
Well, Ondar steps there. He has drawn his sword. He has his shield at the ready. He screams in orc, "How dare you!" First, when he woke up, he thanked Torm for giving him the chance to prove his worthiness. And then he screams at the top of his lungs, "How dare you, foul creatures, invade his party's rest." And then he moves to there, has his horn drawn and readied to swing at the first foul creature that invades his space.
Okay.
That's his turn.
We will take Carlin's turn. He's gonna stand up from prone.
He was gonna. You were gonna skip his turn because he got dazed
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
or stunned, whatever. At least he didn't do it to himself this time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's improvement.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
So
learning.
Ireva, you're up.
All right, Ireva is going to target Orc 3 right next to her, and is going to use her bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on him,
Right.
and then just take a real close range shot at him, try and get him right in the eye socket.
That is a hit.
Perfect.
Basically sticks out bow and the
All
arrow.
right. 13 points of damage as Ireva takes a point-blank arrow shot from her bow, sticking into the orc's face.
All right, and she will take another one right away after.
That is another hit.
Dang.
Well, with a +10, it's hard not to hit.
15 points
Yeah.
of damage, killing the orc.
That's why I didn't move. All
She
right.
didn't even shoot the arrow. She just took her arrow like on the bow and just
Lego style.
Like instead of shield bash, it's a bow smash with the
Yeah.
arrow.
Yes. All right, and then once he's laying on the ground, she is going to back up to here and, yell to Freddy and yell to Hawkeye. Freddy, Hawkeye, awaken. Do not want you attacked in your slumber. And she'll end her turn.
I guess
Right.
she does it real cool though. She like strides away, like walks real cool,
Basically like floating, I mean.
All right, Uthar, you are prone on the ground, being woken up as you see these orcs, more orcs coming at you.
He's in a hammock. Let's be fair. He said he was in a hammock.
Yeah,
So,
damn
Yeah, they just kind of spin rolls it over so that he falls on the ground. Gets himself up.
Right.
So let's see, 5, 10, 20. I'm gonna use cunning action to actually be able to move enough to do this. I'm gonna move down to here and
Okay.
use my last spell slot and get to sleepies. I'm gonna cast Thunder Wave. It'll get the 2 and 4 boy.
Okay.
So, there it goes.
They both succeed.
Well, then they'll take half damage, so. Fine. Oh, wait. target them, then I'll have to roll once.
Five points of damage to both.
That is it. Yep, that's bonus action. I used it. Yep. All right.
Okay. Orc 1, 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. He's going to swing his great axe.
Yeah, that's not going to be good for me. I'm not wearing my armor.
That is a
He rolled
dodged
bad, though.
roll. Right. More orcs coming out. 5, 10, 15, 5, 30, 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. Ready. Doing.
All right, so as Ureva was saying that, Freddy's already clamoring out of the tent. Standing up.
As Freddy exits the tent, Ureva has a slight look of relief on her face, knowing he won't be attacked in his sleep.
Oh, I thought you meant a slight look of relief as he's not naked or something.
That too. Jeez, Ryan, what kind of mind do you think I have? Oh my god.
Everybody sleeps in the nude.
So Ondar and Freddy actually swap places. This Freddy's the one not wearing his armor, so he's walking out with a loincloth pretty much.
Okay. So then she has a look of relief followed by a look of what, and just quickly immediately looks away.
Yep.
Freddy will move 15 feet forward because that's half of the movement left. He's going to target Orc 2 and trying to hit him with 2 Eldritch Blasts.
Okay. First one is a hit. Second one glances off its shoulder.
All right.
8 points of damage as green crackling energy, eldritch energy, blasts out from Freddy.
Freddy did grab his shield, by the way. He is wearing a shield, but he's unleashing 2 blasts from his other hand. And that's going to be it. And it ends his turn.
Okay, Hawkeye, what do you got?
I'm gonna stand up and like go to Ondar. Like that's me getting out of the tent.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do summon beast. And let's see if I remember the range on it. I think it could go.
I think it's 90.
I want it there.
Land?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. So it gets advantage on its rolls because of Uthar and Carlin. Alright, and then I'm going to... myself, I'm going to stay where I am. No, I'm not. I'm going to move back and be like behind my tent for my turn, and for the bestial spirit, the land spirit, it's going to try to maul Orc 1.
Okay. Okay, so the bestial land spirit will attack Orc. Did you say Orc 5?
Orc 1 is the one I
Okay.
said.
Orc 1 will maul. He will maul Orc 1, and this is a hit due to pack tactics. Giving an advantage, and that is a 13 points of piercing damage. Now the ogre goes. Lumbering brute through the woods. Going to have to use 5. $30, 35, 40. Dash 5, 10 to get next to the wolf. Go back to the top of the order with Orc 5. Sees Carlin down on the ground and he wants to at him. And swings his great axe once more, hitting Carlin. This attack dealing 8 points of damage. Carlin will now go. He stands up from prone. He will use a bonus action to cunning action, disengage. Out there.
Run away!
He goes, hides behind Ondar. I'm right behind you, Paladin. Orc 4 will go. 5, 15, 20. That will proc your held action, Ondar.
Ondar will swing.
And make your attack against Orc 4. That's a hit. Damage. The orc is dead.
Nice.
Damn.
What color was that flash of radiant?
That was just a regular flash of radiant. Like normal.
Ondar shakes his head in approval, looks to the heavens, and thanks Torm.
Right. Orc 2 is now going to go. Gonna go right here and attack Uthar. Swinging its great axe at the Furbolg. That's a hit.
But just barely, so he's got to know that.
Dealing 10 points of damage.
Alright, well, he's gonna do a dex save. Where is it? There it is.
Gonna get some shocky boys.
Yeah, you don't just get to go around touching people. It's important.
All right, he fails. Go ahead and do that damage. Can't just go around touching people. 9 points of damage, killing the orc.
And let's say it's
That's what you get
thunder
for
that
touching
blasts through
me.
him on this one, so he just gets barreled backwards into the tent.
Yeah, he blows back into the tent, destroying it. All right, Ondar, you have received initiative.
Ondar tells Carlin to find some place to hide. He will move to here. He will try to swat. Work 1.
Hit. Five points of damage, killing the orc.
He will attempt to knock Orc 5 to the ground.
Okay. That is not enough. The orc rams his shoulder back into your shield.
And he'll just hit him while he screams at him, then die.
At least he gets to die on his feet.
Oh.
Your longsword slash cuts into the furs across his body, not dealing any damage.
You need to shave that stuff.
All right, Ireva, you have received initiative.
All right. Ireva will, seeing everyone move around and the previous orc dying, she'll see the ogre lumber in, and she hates orcs, but she despises ogres. So she is going to use her bonus action to retrain her hunter's mark on the ogre, and she will loose arrow 1.
That's a hit. Definitely. 27. 14 points of damage. An arrow sticks into the ogre's chest. Gives a great roar.
All right, and seeing the ogre's pain, she'll almost snarl and let a little growl of just pure hatred, wanting to see this creature dead, and loose a second arrow.
Another hit. 11 points of damage. Another arrow causing it to shake its body back a little bit. It's jolted from the force.
All right, and then she's gonna end her turn there.
Right. Uthar, you are up.
Move to here.
You're really quiet.
Really?
A little bit, yeah.
I have to test this microphone because I don't know why it's being quiet recently.
That's better. That's a lot better.
Grab my short sword and let's take a swing.
Ooh,
That's a crit.
critical.
Somebody fit to go down.
Probably.
That is a shoulder blow. In addition to standard critical damage, your target's arm is cut off at the shoulder. A slashing weapon.
Son.
The target is stunned for 2 rounds, or shoulder is torn for a piercing.
I mean,
weapon.
I don't think that's gonna matter because I rolled 33 damage.
Yeah. 33 damage. He dead. He big time dead. He big boy dead.
Wow.
Damn.
Ondar just looks at him and goes, "Well done."
The arm just fell off. I don't
think it fell off. I think you sliced it off, my friend.
15, 20, and because I want certain things to go certain ways, I'm gonna go over here and then use cunning action to hide.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
All right.
Uthar just runs over and eviscerates a guy and then goes diving in a tent. As you dive into the tent, it kind of crumples on top. You go, them!
Freddy's like, "What?"
Anything else, Uthar?
Nope.
Taking us to Orc 6. Shouts this back. He is going to attack Freddy. His great axe. It's blocked by your shield. Freddy, you are up.
Alright. Well, there's only the big guy left. Freddy's just gonna be loosing some more Eldritch Blasts at him.
All right. Blocked by armor. Rolled at disadvantage because you are casting an attack from melee range.
Oh, there's a dude in front of me. Oh, I didn't see. Oh, I'm committed to that.
He just tried to kill you with an axe. What do you mean you didn't see him?
Tunnel vision. Tunnel vision.
Tell me, yeah.
The second one hits. Second one is a hit. 7 points of damage as green crackling end energy smacks straight into the chest of the ogre.
I think I'm gonna stay there, and yeah, just on my turn.
All right, Hawkeye, you're up.
Quick question. before I do my stuff, is healing word prepared? Do I have it prepared? I don't know if I do.
Do you see the star next to it?
The star is not next to it.
Okay, then no. Okay, then I can't necessarily do what I wanted to do. Let's see. So I will move forward 5 to I'll move here and I'll do my little fire. So I'll produce flame and try to throw it at Orc 6.
Right. That's a hit.
Alright, and then that's to you. Wow. Okay, well that sucks.
Got his eyebrows
1
though.
point of damage. Orc has no more
Eyebrows.
eyebrows.
Silly without his
That
eyebrows.
And then,
Got a manicure.
I mean, that's my turn, but for the bestial land spirit, I'll have it move. Let's see. Just so Onder could get in, I'll have it move. Can it be under the tree here?
Yep.
All right,
The only
just so-
space that's kind of taken is the tree trunks.
Oh, okay, so I'll have it be like underneath that, so Onder will be able to
Yep.
get in, but I'm going to attack and then move first, if that makes sense. Maul, then move.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, just so it tries to get the advantage again. All right, and that's me.
Okay. It wouldn't get advantage because there isn't another friendly next to its target.
Oh.
The bestial land
I
spirit is
see.
going to maul the ogre. And it rolls a 1. Gets a fumble effect.
Well, great.
It is dazed until the end of its next turn, so it cannot move.
Okay.
Tried to bite him so hard, but it bit his own tongue.
Yeah.
The risk you take when you try to bite people. Just ask my dogs. Do it all the time.
Jeez. Alright, now the ogre is up. Ogre is going to step up right here.
I'm the papa.
Is
That's why
going
I
to
moved.
attack the bestial land spirit.
That's also acceptable, as long as it wasn't me.
And that's
Or
a
Fred.
hit. Dealing 10 points of damage. When it's stunned, that's a coup de grace, isn't it?
That's up to you.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any official rule on that.
We'll let it
It doesn't
stand.
stand.
happen
Coup de
so
grace, I
fucking
think.
rarely.
Automatic crit or whatever. Whatever. Okay, we'll go back to the top with Carlin Amafel.
Yeah, because it's considered incapacitated, so I guess technically it would get an auto crit.
Probably an auto crit, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Okay, so Great Club. Roll 1 D 8 20. There we go. That was the crit damage. Carlin is going to duck into a tent.
You guys got this.
I'm gonna try to hide.
Hey, don't blame him. I told him to.
Yeah. Nods his head to Ondar. Ondar strides forth, and he is going to try to hide.
Carlin
There we go,
sees
stealth.
Renard and Greg then, because that's my tent.
He's hiding behind
Rolls
them,
an
probably
18.
then.
All right, Ondar, you are up.
Andar is first going to attack Orc 6.
Okay. The
Ooh.
orc dodges from your swipe.
Well, then he's going to try to shove him. Damn!
Oh man.
You can still win. You can still win.
Failed to shove.
This orc sucks.
He's prone.
Him so much.
He's prone.
You failed to shove him.
That's so funny.
I failed to shove him. Yes, okay. Why did it?
Why did it what?
I don't know. I'm seeing prone.
Oh, I read that wrong.
Yeah, prone to Carlin and prone to Uthar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was prone to the orc, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
Nope. Hey. That is a hit with some 7 points of damage.
Color of the
It is Brilliant Radiance.
regular, right? Not green.
Yep.
Okay, again, looks to the sky. Thanks, Storm. Tells that orc in Orcish. Well, I'll just type it in.
He snarls back at you with a big, toothy grin. Ireva, you are up.
All right, and Ireva, determined to take this ogre down, she has her hunter's mark on him, so she is going to... Oh god, I haven't used Planar Warrior in so long. I have to remember how to use it. So there's two, like, buttons for it. Which one do I press again? Do I hit both again? They say effect damage type force. Does it not matter?
Oh, hit both of them, because what that does is it turns your damage into force damage. That's what the second
Okay.
one.
Okay, perfect. So with Hunter's Mark already placed on the ogre, I will then activate Planar Warrior and take shot number 1.
That's a hit.
Perfect. So Planar Warrior should hit for that one.
18 points of damage.
But he is
That's-
still alive, correct? Yeah, so it
He
should
is
be
still
3
alive.
dice. That's good. Okay. Then I'm going to take... Do I have to turn Planar Warrior off? Or does it only work for one hit?
It only does the one hit. You're good.
Okay. So then I'm going to loose a second arrow.
Aw, it was gonna be a crit.
That's a hit.
I know. Like it's a hit, but come on. I was
Yeah, a
almost...
hit on a 2.
Not
14
mad.
points of damage. The ogre gives a great falls
All right.
on the ground.
Seeing the ogre crashing to the ground, she'll just kind of grumble to herself, "Go to hell, you heathen." And she will end her turn.
Hey, Uthar, you are prone in the tent.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand up from the tent,
Okay.
looking slightly confused at tents, apparently. And there's no reason to do anything fancy. I'm just gonna take a swing, I think. Yeah.
For sleep masks.
That's a hit.
I was like, you didn't like
And
fall.
I don't know why my hotkey. Do you have to hold something to do hotkeys? Because it just says 1, but I hit that and that didn't do shit. So I gotta keep finding sneak attack.
I
or
think it's
whatever.
a F1.
Oh,
I think the
you shit,
hotkeys
you're
are
right.
the Fs. Yep.
Silly me. I need to remap stuff for that. All right, there we go. Not great damage, but that's enough. All right.
Dead. Uthar, how do you want to do this?
I think the confusion of seeing the firebolt come out of the tent gives a very good opening for just stabbing him in the chest.
Just out of this tent. Ha ha! Stab him.
Surprise! Yeah.
Could you be? You never knew I was there.
Everybody knew it was there though, but he doesn't know that.
He thinks he was super spy man.
You can't know you did a bad hide.
All right, congratulations. You have fended off yet another attack in the middle of the night.
All right.
Oh,
Hawkeye's gonna do something real quick. So she's gonna do this. So she's going to take the starry form chalice.
Okay.
And then, like, outside of combat, so now she's going to cast Healing Spirit as level 3. Because I don't have any level 2s left. If that's okay.
does that mean she turns into a cup?
Yeah, she turns into a starry form where her body kind of becomes luminous, almost like a glowing version of the night sky with constellations, a chalice upon her body. The joints glimmer like stars, and glowing lines connect them as if on a star chart. Shines bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10.
Whoa.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
And
Whenever you
then-
cast a spell using a spell slot that restores hit points to a creature, you or another creature within 30 feet of you gain hit points equal to 1d8 plus your wisdom mod.
Yeah.
Hawkeye, what are you doing?
And then I'm doing Healing Spirit. And I'm gonna put it like there.
Okay. Anyone that
So-
walks into that healing spirit can get some heals. You're casting it at 3rd level?
3. Yeah.
I think Carlin should have first dibs.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
healing increases by 1d6.
And then since I have Chalice on, doesn't it do that since Carlin's 30 feet within me?
It's when you cast the spell. So you can do your chalice heal, which is the 1d8 plus 4, and drop that on anyone within 30 feet. You want to do that on Carlin? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that on Carlin.
Carlin is going to walk in.
And now he gets a 1d6
2d6.
plus
2d6. Yep.
2d6.
So-
2d6.
So, click on that 1d6 heal next to Healing Spirit, and as you're holding it, click the right button. That'll add another dice to it. It'll upcast.
Wow.
No.
There you go.
Sugar.
Sorry.
Carlin just gives you sad puppy dog eyes like, but I thought you wanted to help.
All right, so that's one heal.
All right,
I'm gonna
and
do
Ryan,
Carlin again.
not to interrupt, but just so it doesn't get lost, I did roll to recover
Yep,
arrows.
I did see that.
Okay.
Carlin, take another step.
Okay, the spirit can heal a number of times
There we go.
equal to 1 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. To 5 times, so that's 2 heals.
I went from
And-
worst roll to best roll.
Ufa, I think you should take one.
Yeah, there's no math to, I suppose. Though I just want to go back. I want my spells back, damn it.
And then,
I was gonna get
Oh,
some
never
healing.
mind.
and then
Yeah, I thought I dropped it on him.
Ondar, looks like you could use a bit touching up.
All right, as you guys figure out this heal, let's take a really quick break.
Okay. back in her tent.
You guys get all your healing and everything?
We
Yeah.
did. Ondar takes the tooth of an ogre and the tooth of an orc.
And as they're all healing, Ureva will start poking around the orcs and ogres just to see if they have anything of value on them, knowing that their comrades would enjoy if they did.
Please make me 2 nature checks, Ondar.
See how bad he screws this up.
Right? You're able to tear out a big tusk from one of the ogres. From the ogre, I should say. Yeah, same with a orc tooth. The orc gives you a little bit of trouble, but you're able to pull out one of its tusks as well.
Yeah, he was thinking about not too much with that one.
Oof.
Dark.
He's making a necklace.
So, you guys are in this camp. You got these orc bodies all around. Hawkeye just dives into her tent.
See, Freddy would like to clear it.
Okay.
Get these orcs away. They smell bad and they're dirty.
Ondar will help.
Some time and effort, able to drag the orc bodies and the ogre body as well far enough away, not smell their corpses.
Oh, I should ask, while we're doing this, do we hear any other commotions coming from the other campsites? Like,
No. Seems to be an isolated band that just happened to go against your group.
okay. Then once that's done, Freddy will crawl back in his tent and continue counting sheep.
Right. Who's on what? Ureva.
Yeah.
Hey, Ureva. There's probably like a few more minutes. Your watch left. The rest of the night goes unhindered. You are a little bit on edge from that whole situation, but you may pass it off. Hawkeye now.
Ondar will share with Freddy as they're dragging the bodies off that the orcs leader was a orc by the name of Gortusk.
Gortusk.
Yes, I told one of them to bring their leader to us, or to me specifically, to perhaps end this folly. But of course, none of them returned. So the next band that challenges us, I will try to let one of them live and send that child back and tell Gortusk to come and kill the leader, and then no more will come.
Not a bad idea. Cut off the head of the snake.
I personally
Perhaps.
don't like the idea of letting any of them live.
Yes, I know. Perhaps it is folly, but I'm going to... Go ahead.
I think the risk is worth the reward.
Your plan is one of sense. And for you, Ondar, I will follow your plan. But if one of my arrows accidentally strikes him, don't get too angry with me.
I will not get angry with you, Ureva. Your arrows seem, most of the time, he looks at Freddy, most of the time, find their mark.
That one did.
He has a smile on his face, a slight grin when he says it. I shall attempt to finish my rest. Good night.
Sweet dreams.
Sleep well, Ondar.
I will attempt to. No, grandsire, it's not time yet, no.
And then Ireva, once they go to bed, Ireva will approach Hawkeye's tent, and not wanting to alarm her from the outside, just try and get her attention. Hawkeye, the time for your watch has come.
And then she'll walk outside and then stand over here.
Then Ireva will just go to her own tent to just give Hawkeye the space.
Mean Girls.
No, Ireva just isn't going to play into it. She has nothing to be remorseful for, so she does not feel remorseful.
What do I need to roll again?
Almost just said, and she'll end her turn. Almost said it.
Well, technically you did say it.
I know, but I like to call myself out when I stop myself.
Right, Hawkeye, you may begin your watch. Please roll me a d20 followed by perception check.
Get on the other tab.
Oh shoot, Nicole, I was looking at it and I was gonna get to it, but okay. So
I didn't want to harass you on stream.
you actually get all of your arrows back.
Oh, I like that. Ireva like.
So I gotta tell you something. Last night when I was done streaming, I was ready to get out of my room. And I guess it's weird to shut your lights off before you open a door or whatever, but I shut the room light off and I opened the door, and there was this figure right in front of me in like the hallway. And like my first initial thought was, oh, that hoe, like my girlfriend. I was like, oh, that hoe, she put a chair in front of me, real funny. And then all of a sudden it moved and I went, ah! She scared the shit out of me. And now she's giving me shit. She's at work right now. She is giving me so much shit.
She got you good.
She got me really well. So
do you usually turn the light off before you leave a room like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would scare you all the time because that's weird.
I don't need the light anymore. I'm turning it off as I'm opening the door and everything. Like, I'm not gonna open the door, walk out of the room, and then reach back to turn the light off. That's just a waste of energy.
But usually you like open the door and as you're opening the door, then you turn the light off.
Yeah, for me it's simultaneous.
Yeah.
But like, this was my sequence of thought. It was literally, oh, that hoe, she put a chair in front of me, and then it moved. I'm like, oh my god, it's a demon.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I was like, I swear my fists were like clenching up, and then I realized, oh no, it's just her.
Especially right after a D&D session.
Oh wait, just her?
Yeah.
Oh dude.
she's
You better be
not a
careful.
demon. Ain't a
She might
demon.
be listening to this.
Oh, Kaya disconnected. Autumn. You there, Otto?
I haven't heard from her in a bit.
We ought to make sure she's all right.
Oh. Showing her still there.
Oh no.
Oh, she's messaging me right now. Hold on. Oh, her thing cut out.
Okay. We're all right. We'll get her back in. Okay, so with those rolls, Hawkeye with that, walking around, nothing is found. We will go on as 6 a.m. in the morning. There's still a little bit until dawn because you are now in the autumn months. Hawkeye comes over to the cot, to the hammock that Uthar is on. She gives a little bit of a shake. Hey, Uthar, it's Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
rolls or sits up and shakes it around a little bit in the hammock and gets to his feet. Yes, waking up in the middle of night is terrible. And suits up for his watch.
All right, Uthar, you have slept long enough to benefit from rest.
Yay, I get my spells back. Don't have many of them.
He's so happy.
Right. Uthar, please roll me a d20 perception check.
Alright, there's the 20 and
No.
perception. Oh.
Oh.
Damn, that's worse than Ureva.
Okay. That's we don't need to be rude.
I'm just gonna say I don't really want you guys to get attacked right now, so we'll just roll with this. Okay.
But I like
Hello.
fights.
My computer did something really weird. Like it's doing something really, really strange, and I don't know how to fix it. So I'm gonna try to pull up my laptop.
Okay. Yep. No worries. Join us when you're able to. Okay. So the rest of the night goes by unimpeded. Uthar, you see the rays of sunlight begin to creep up with their reddish-orange glow of dawn. You may now wake up the rest of the party.
I just start cooking breakfast, I guess, instead, and then they can wake up when they want. It's rude to wake people up.
Right.
Unless you're being attacked.
Everybody can make me perception checks at -5. Real.
-5.
-5.
-5 because you're sleeping.
Well, okay. But does Ireva take it at -5 because she's awake?
Oh, Ireva does not. Ireva, you would know. You would know that Uthar is cooking food and you smell scrumptious.
So I'm not making a check.
Nope.
Okay.
Ondar's got
-1.
Ondar dies. He's so imperceptive, he forgot to breathe.
You bring. Who's facing the east and
There you go. That's right. Nothing
Alright.
breaks that concentration.
Yep, so Freddy is fast asleep. Ondar is fast asleep. Well, Ondar, actually,
No.
you would be waking up to dawn.
Ondar was awake before the dawn because at dawn he's facing the east and praying, giving thanks to Torm for another chance to live another day and face judgment.
Guys.
Ureva will gently leave her tent and just kind of look over at Uthar and say, just ask would you like any assistance with your cooking? I'm up.
This is not necessary. You may make your own food. This is food for me.
No, I do not look to take your food. But if you would like
That
any
is good.
assistance or
I hate
any...
people for trying to take food. On shipping food, very important.
Ureva will kind of just smile at him with amusement and just say, no, I do not make any moves to take your food. Do not worry. If you would like any help, though, I'm happy to. Or if you would like company, I'm happy to. Otherwise, I'm just as happy in my tent.
This seems... Why do you want to be in tent? It's nice outside. You should get more sun.
Well, it's not really productive to try and get sun when the sun is on the other side of the earth.
The sun is coming up. You should get more time in it. That way you get good color.
Maybe I'll say, you're trying to say I do not have good color.
Well, you have the people flesh, so yes, he's. You should get darker color. Otherwise, you will burn on the. Have you not spent time? You have not spent time on the ocean. You burn very quickly on boat.
Hearing the word on ocean and in boat, Ureva will almost blanch a little bit and say, I'll be honest with you, I have no interest in spending any length of time on a boat or on the ocean. The forest is where I call my home.
Yeah. You cannot see in forest. Like everywhere is tree.
Ah, but you can see around the trees, and you can hide yourself just as well in the trees. So those who do not want to see you cannot see you.
Yes, but if you hide, then what is, how do you fight? If you see bad people, you have to be able to see them. This is why water better than forest.
But in the forest, you can move through the trees silently and sneak around and catch your enemies by surprise. On the ocean, do you not feel like exposure? Like a sitting duck almost.
Yes, this is important.
You want to be a sitting duck?
Everyone see each other coming. A fight is about strength. There's no reason to hide.
I had never thought of it that way. While I still do not think I'd be comfortable in the open water, I respect that approach to a fight. Sometimes in the forest, there are those that it may not even be a fight, but you may have a certain prey, or to feed your family, and you may need to sneak up on them. I suppose even that is different on the ocean, is it not?
You talk about like hunting food? Because you fish on ocean usually.
Oh. I'll be honest with you, fishing is a concept I'm completely unaware of.
Yeah, this would be very important. On boats, you bring food, and sometimes you get food from port and stuff. But you have to be able to fish, get more food. Also lemons. You get scurvy.
What is this scurvy? I'm not familiar with it. It's not something my people have ever had to deal with.
Yeah, you probably have access to lots of lemons. Lemons are good. Yeah, scurvy. You have illness that you make you die?
Oh, there are still... My people are good at taking care of one another, but unfortunately there is the occasional illness that causes a death, yes.
Yes, scurvy is one of these. You don't eat enough lemons, you die.
I understand. We definitely come from different worlds. I can't say that I would enjoy your world.
I am from this world. I am not from other world.
Maybe not a different planet, so
I think my powers come from different world, though. This is what I was told. But I am not from there. I was here, on boat.
Well, you have my respect for being able to earn living that way. I can't understand it, nor do I wish to try that lifestyle.
This is shame. The good archers on boat, important. Shoot arrows, fire, light boat on fire.
And she'll kind of...
Very useful.
Ireva will perk up at, oh, you have archers on your boats.
Yes, once you get with in a certain distance, you want to cause different kind of damage than cannon fire. It can be difficult to get good cannon fire, so boarding parties, archers, these are important things.
What other kind of fighting do you do on these boats?
Sometimes you climb very tall where there is mast, and you swing on rope, and you jump onto other boat, and then you stave them.
Sounds like you're almost creating a jungle on the water.
I don't know this jungle.
Forest.
Yes, no, because forest is bad. Boat is just one big little. It's one little area, but it's big fight.
No, I simply meant with your maneuvers from traveling from one ship to another. It sounds like stealth we may try to use in the forest when hunting prey or fighting off our foe.
Where are the ropes then? I do not see ropes. Rigging, you know, this is word.
Well, we may not use ropes, but we're able to move stealthily between trees, and some of my people can jump through the tops of trees.
Ah, big jump. This is, I am not so much good at this, but I have many friends, big jumpers.
So, can I ask what made you decide to no longer be on a boat?
To leave boat? Yes, I am looking for a man who used to be on boat and now is on land. So, if you're going to find him, I had to come off land. I do not like leaving my crewmen, but they have assured me they will come back when time is right.
You must be looking as forward to return to your home as I am.
They may take many years. I do not know how long I will be looking for this man.
Well, if along the way I can help you at all with this, as long as it does not hurt my current goal, I would be happy to help you with this.
If you see a little man, he's like about my chin height. If you see him and his face badly burnt on the right side, you tell me.
I give you my word that I will. I'll keep my eyes out for him.
Thank you. I will be stabbing him, so make sure you do not become friend. He is bad man, though.
I think you're all right. There's not many that I'm comfortable calling this friends.
This is sad. When you should join boat crew, become good friends, because I only crew for 6 or 8 months, and then you go to place and you meet more people, but you get a very good friendship when you're stuck together in one small location.
I suppose I've never been concerned
Or
with
you get
friendship.
stabbed and thrown overboard because you're bad.
They may just throw me overboard then. I'm not sure that I would see eye to eye with your boat crew. I've never been concerned with this friendship. My code has always been to live by respect and by doing your duties. Friendship has never been something I needed.
Important. People not do their duties on the boat could sink. You would fit in well on boat. Also, you're small and fast. That means you will not be in way. Sometimes you get hit by when the mast comes across, it knock you off boat.
Mireva, just getting lost in this conversation, has her face clearly is showing like intrigue and interest in this, as she's never talked to anyone in her travels that has lived on a boat.
Execute
You have masts
Order
crashing on your
66.
We have to
Not exactly
describe if
sure
you
what
not
his
live on
accent
boat.
is like.
The sail is what move boat, and it moves side to side. So if you're not pay attention, you'll get whacked right in the head.
Does that
And
not
if no
cut
one
your
like
ship
you,
in two?
No, it come up from middle of boat. He reaches around and picks up like a stick and some leaves to try to make an example of what a sail is, but it doesn't go well. Because these leaves are not really doing it for him, so he's basically just holding up a stick and holding up another kind of stick and then moving them. He's like this. He's it turn and wind push. There's a big wheel. We turn the wheel and then they both go in that direction. Well, the big wheel turn what we call rudder is the wood in water. This help steer. Also, there is wind and sails. Without I will show you a boat when we are not in forest.
Would it not simply
it will
be-
make sense.
Would it not seem easier to turn the sails? Catch a different direction? I don't
you do
understand
this
why you use
too,
a piece of
yes.
wood in the water.
Well, it is important to turn boat right, not direction right. We don't. This is why we don't use right and left on boat, because it gets confusing.
If you don't use right and left.
We have different words, port and starboard. This way, nobody says right and thinks you mean direction. Frankly, being not using this on land has been difficult and confusing. It's always in relative to boat. That way, boat is always going, and you know which way to mean, no matter where you see boat go.
No. What are you guys talking about?
Seems we've woken the half-elf.
Now it appears everybody is awake.
Shut up, we're trying to sleep.
It has been light for some time.
He would sleep all day if he was allowed to.
That's right, light doesn't mean you gotta be up.
And he would play his music all night if we would let him.
Hey, Carlin likes it. Why don't you get on board, bruh?
And begin.
Oh.
Carlin makes
disappeared for a second.
makes his way over to this other the other corner. Okay. All right. As you guys are waking up, the other little pocketed camps in this area are also waking up. You hear sounds of some people cooking, making their own fires, as well as people putting supplies and stuff back on the wagons, getting ready to set out.
Under's eating a ration.
Yeah,
Good
I guess
one
we
from
get back on wagon now.
Right, if there's nothing else you guys want to do, we can begin walking out on the 10th day.
Under, we'll check in on Hawkeye. Hawkeye, how are you feeling?
I'm in the chat, but I'm not in the game.
Okay,
I'm trying to help her troubleshoot.
okay. Oh, gotcha.
What was Ondar saying?
Just checking on her, how she's feeling.
Not very well. She doesn't feel very well. Like, she still feels upset of like how she just feels like everyone hates her, and feels like she's just trying to do stuff that would help like her and feel comfortable, but it seems like everything she does is wrong.
Under will try to assure her that she's not being cast aside.
You are not hated. We are just concerned for yours and our safety.
She raises an eyebrow and then like glances over at Ureva and then like just goes like, mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh, she cares for you like a sister. And sometimes sisters fight.
If they don't fight, are they really sisters?
Exactly.
Art?
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard part two. I was thinking about calling him out too, and I was like,
Fight.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yes, sisters do fart also, yes.
Does Ureva hear this?
Yes.
Okay.
You're all kind
Ondar
of.
doesn't whisper. Ondar doesn't whisper.
Yeah,
so
you're all kind of within earshot. I mean, you'd have to be paying attention to really hear the conversation, but you know there's a conversation going on. Probably can
So-
absent-mindedly hear.
I would say she would have heard her name or heard that and just there is no room in our mission for hatred. However, there should be room for being able to trust each other. And you've known from the beginning that my trust is what I'm most concerned with.
I have three
And with
sisters,
that-
so I mean,
Are you the only brother?
no, I have an older brother also. I am the The fifth of 4. The fifth of 5, excuse me. That was odd, wasn't it? How can you be the fifth of 4? Ah, that was what you call a Freudian slip.
One more thing you guys can do me. Everybody that prepares spells, so I think this would be Hawkeye, Uthar. Let's do your prepared spells list. So Hawkeye, if you want to change any of your prepared spells, this is the time to do.
Oh, I took care of that when you gave me the long rest. Go ahead.
Okay.
I can't even see my character sheet right now, so I wouldn't
So,
That might make it tough.
what do you think you want? Do you want Entangle? Tangle is the zone that you can make it difficult to reach. Or a creature in the area when you cast a spell must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained. That's a pretty good spell.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm fine with all the spells, except for I just don't know what level 1s I have. I think my level 2s and my level 3s are fine.
Okay.
And my cantrips.
Right now, what you have prepared is Entangle, Goodberry, Healing Spirit, Pass Without a Trace, Summon Beast, Conjure Animals, and Spell Magic.
What are the level 1s again?
Level 1s are Entangle and Goodberry.
Entangle and Goodberry. I probably don't need Goodberry for today.
Okay. So you have Cure Wounds, Earth Tremor, Healing Word, Ice Knife, Thunder Wave, Hold Person, Moonbeam. Choose from.
Let's see.
I would pick a first level spell, so Cure Wounds, Earth
Yeah.
Tremor, Healing Word, Ice Knife, or Thunder Wave.
Let's do Healing Word, I think.
Okay. Your prepared spells list. And you also always have Animal Friendship, Guiding Bolt, and Speak with Animals prepared, as well as Misty Step. All right. Day 10. Right, so on the Sword Coast map, on day 10, you set out, and after a few hours' time, probably in the middle of the afternoon, 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock, you finally see the actual roadhouse that you are on the way to. There's a lot of hubbub and sighs of relief in the rest of the caravan as you are approaching. Oh, thank the gods. A lot of that going on. Oh, we finally made it. So, go to Arnath Roadhouse.
What are the cultists doing?
Cultists are just kind of following along right now, in line with the rest of the caravan. They've been same as before on your journey north. They're kind of keeping to themselves a little bit, not really conversing a whole lot with.
None of them have died
None of them have died.
because they've been hiding.
Have.
Or chicken shits.
Hey. And as you guys approach the roadhouse, you see a lot of the wagons and all that stuff, the draft horses, are being brought into the front door 1 or 2 at a time.
Roadhouse.
What's it look like?
Roadhouse.
If y'all want to check the bar chat, go ahead.
Oh,
I saw it.
That's how I'm saying
Yeah,
it in my head every time.
Roadhouse.
It's the Roadhouse. Yeah, it's the Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. Just the way he says it.
Every time.
Okay, so the Roadhouse looks like a weathered and somewhat beaten down building, repaired over the years, but it's definitely not like a good site to look at. It's basically there to serve a purpose, and there is a lot of muddy, churned up ground everywhere. Mud has been dried in like rivulets and everything, so the going is a little bit treacherous. You don't want to sprain an ankle, and the exterior itself is of stonework with some wood patches here and there, but it's definitely sturdy enough and serves its purpose. The compound that has served as a hostelry on the trade road between Waterdeep and Neverwinter in days when trade flourished, since falling into disuse when trade stopped, but now that the road is being rebuilt, then repaired and put to use as a supply depot and wagon park.
Does it look as though it's been attacked or in any way?
No.
Okay.
This is a somewhat defensible position. It doesn't have like arrow slits or anything, but creatures inside could definitely easily defend it for a time, unless a very, very large fort came forth.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yep.
And the wagons are being taken in through the doors that we're approaching?
Yep, they are being taken in, but only like 1 or 2 at a time.
Okay.
So right now there are only 2 wagons.
Is the
So
map
he's gonna
supposed to
walk on
be?
in.
Is the map supposed to be like all black,
Not all black.
except for like Roadhouse at the top?
Where we
Pretty
can
much,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
rest of it is the building.
I'm just making sure.
All right, Freddy, as you open up, you see a compound inside crowded with food, lumber, and myriad other supplies in crates and barrels. And there is quite a hubbub of noise as many people are kind of walking around to and fro. You see 2 of the wagons being unloaded
Okay.
right here. There are more outside kind of waiting to be ushered in.
Are there guards at the door, at the gates?
There are armed guards kind of walking around. Nobody's really posted anywhere right now, but as you were coming up, there were guards around. But once they saw Ardred Griferhue, they knew exactly what was. There's some walking around outside as sentries and everything, but there's a few inside.
Where did the cultists go? Do they go in the gates, or are they
The cultists are still outside. There are 2 wagons that are not of the cultists.
out here? See where they go.
Cultists?
Yeah, they're posing as road workers, right? The
Yep,
people that
they are posing as laborers.
I'm waiting to see where they go. You know, I'm doing that. Ondar's doing that whole, fake tying his shoe thing. You know.
All right, Freddy, and as you are Sorry, go ahead.
Even though his boots don't have shoelaces. You know.
As you are standing there, kind of looking around, you see one figure go down from steps leading up to a second floor. It is a half orc. He walks over to where they're unloading stuff and starts looking at some of the supplies, and he's kind of giving directions and talking to the laborers where to put stuff, inspecting.
Okay, does he seem to be like a manager or just a laborer?
He seems to be taking somewhat of a command.
Okay. I'll walk up to him. Greetings.
He casts a glance at you. Hello. Who you be? You a laborer?
Ah, no, I'm one of the guards of the this caravan.
Okay. Well, you're gonna want to speak with Audred Brifferhue.
Brifferhue, Mr. Brifferhue, or Mrs.
Well, you came along with him. Your sergeant.
Of course.
Now leave me be. I got some work to do.
All right, fair enough. I just wanted to make sure that our goods will be safe inside this warehouse. That's all.
No goods. And he kind of just like shakes his head, whatever. Doesn't push you, but kind of makes his way past you, and he's intent on like studying the crates and everything, looking at stuff and opening some barrels up, adding some, feeling if they're heavy, any water damage or anything. Go ahead and make me an investigation check, Fred.
That's great.
All right. Yeah, it just seems like some dude going about his business, looking at the supplies. Not really sure what he's looking for.
He's a tool.
Not a very cheery fellow. Oh well. Then yeah, Freddy will just take his leave for now. Also, I thought you said Audrey for sure.
Gotcha.
Not Ardred, so that's why I didn't catch the name. Once I get back outside, Freddy will say, "It's not a very friendly fellow, but it seems like he's going to be taking care of our caravan's goods in the meantime."
So we're for you.
Brifferhue is still outside. We'll put him. Archer's kind of talking to some of the other laborers on the wagons with guards off to the side.
How many guards total did the caravan lose on the way up?
5. So not including you guys, there are 2 others. He's got the 2 other guards with him.
It's a pretty scarce guard.
Right over.
Yeah, then Freddy will remount his horse and go meet with Ardred, I suppose.
Okay, so as you come over, you overhear him talking with the other guards. Yes, and then we'll figure out postings and where you guys are going to fit in with the existing guard. Honda. Fare thee well.
Fare thee well. Are we done?
Oh no, meant it as a greeting. How do you fare?
Well met's a better greeting.
Maybe from where you come from, where you're from. Never been to, what is it, Tether? Never been there myself.
Yes.
Never been there
Yes.
myself.
It's a wonderful land.
I think I'll have to take my word for it. I'm more accustomed to these northern lands.
Old up here, yes.
Yes. Puts hair on your chest.
I have plenty of that. Don't need any more. Shakes his head whenever someone mentions hair.
This flowing mane. Oh,
Or actually,
right.
like someone turned on a hair dryer.
Right, as I was just saying to these lads, they don't have that much left, but, you know, that's kind of what happens.
Well, if some of these scaredy cat, lazy bastards would have thrown in a little bit of help when we were attacked. And when he says that, he looks back to the cultists who are, of course, hiding under their wagons. We would have saved a few lives. I know it's not their paid job, but they could have wielded at least an axe or a hammer.
Yeah, at this, he kind of stops, waves his hands. Oi, oi, we'll have none of that. None of that now, you hear? They've been hired laborers. They have their job, we have ours. Okay? When it comes down to it, if we are assaulted by a mass force, of course, we have precautions to take and we will hole up where we can. But in the meantime, they are here to do the work. We are just here to protect them.
Oh, just here to protect them.
Yes, we are here to protect the laborers. They are the ones cutting away the roads. They're the ones that are needed. Unless you want to take off your armor and take up a shovel yourself.
I have done that before in my life. I'm not afraid to dig a ditch. I'm not afraid to fell a tree. I'm not afraid to sling a hammer, drive a nail. These are things I have done. I will do again in my life. I'm not afraid to do that. I'm not afraid to lay down my life to save a wretch such as him.
And he narrows his eyes a little bit. I'll keep that in the back of my mind in case we ever find need of such help. Laborers are hard to come by. Not that many want to come north and cut away this road. Lord Neverember. It appears you might volunteer yourself one day.
Andar takes his finger and he shoves it into this guy's frickin' chest and he goes, laborers are easy to find. Warriors, true warriors, are hard to find. And he rides away.
When you shove your finger in his chest, he takes great offense to that. Hey, boy, you get back here.
Andar turns and looks at him and goes, who you calling a boy, son?
Steps up. And he kind of yells out, hey, Borgluck, gonna need you out here. And you see this orc. It's half orc, I should say. Striding out. What's going on out here?
Clearly some sort of miscommunication. That's all.
Oh no, there's no miscommunication. I think we need some discipline. We got an upstart right here. Bogluck says, hey, I'll go get me whip. And walks inside.
Ondar's pride gets in the way of his judgment sometimes. There is no one here that is more disciplined than him.
Ardred cuts you off with a hand. Cuts you off with a hand. Puts his hand down in a sharp cutting motion. Enough. Okay. One thing we need to get straight around here is I am in charge. I am the leader of this guardsman. Bogluck is in charge of this roadhouse. You will fall in line and you will listen to our orders, and there will be no dissent.
A good captain does not need to tell people to not have dissent. They simply do not want it.
Enough! You've seen how many times we've been attacked up here. There is no room for dissent. There is no room for other thoughts and ideas. Your lives,
This is usually
just as
last
much
thing
as
Captain think
everybody
before
else.
mutiny.
Your lives, just as much as everybody else's, likely depends on it. I don't think you understand what manner of creatures are out there. You have only seen but the tip.
Babe, you're muted.
Perhaps you should deploy more dependable warriors then.
If I had more dependable warriors to employ, I surely would.
Are you saying we are not dependable?
I don't see any reason for you to be treating us this way. We have done nothing to put ourselves in your ill will.
You have done nothing. Did you not see how this man just talked to me? His leading officer.
So your ego is so fragile as to be this hurt by simple conversation with someone that doesn't fall in line for you. You must have fragile pride.
At this, Ardred steps back. He says, all right. I think we have an entire team of people that needs some lashings.
You are not going to lash me.
It would be a
on
very
Darknet.
poor decision to attempt to lash anyone here.
You will not touch me.
Bogluck comes out with his whip, and he's got it rolled up in his hands. And there are a lot of other guardsmen now that are kind of congregating around you, and they all look pretty tense.
Please, 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 friends. We're all tired from the road here. Tensions are high. Stress is mounting. And finally, we have come to something of a safe haven. And yes, that lets our egos fly a little bit, especially when they've been pent up for so long. But let's not let that cloud the true mission here.
At seeing the whip, you can see the arcs of electricity swirling around Uthar. If he even attempts, I'm telling you right now, ready action, if he attempts to unfurl that whip as if a weapon, he's getting blasted.
Right.
Ireva will have her bow in hand. She won't reach back for an arrow yet, but her bow is in hand.
Let us all simmer down, collect ourselves, and maybe reapproach the situation at a later date.
Ardred speaks up. Your words of honey will do no help here. On the wall.
Well, perhaps you'd more like
points to the wall.
actions of anger.
On the wall for
I
what?
said on
Sergeant?
the wall, backs turned.
For what, Sergeant? For what?
For your lashings.
What crime have I committed to receive a lashing?
I am the law here. You will bow to my will.
I do not recognize you as law. Who are you that I should recognize you as my law?
Andar
Alright,
looks
boys.
Andar looks at your raven and says, "Hold, please hold." He steps off his horse.
You're
Out
on
of-
your horse this whole time? That's beautiful.
Out of pure respect for Andar, Ireva will silence herself and will intentionally calm her demeanor.
He steps off his horse and he stands right there and he looks at Ardred and he says, "Sergeant, may I ask what crime I have committed to deserve a public lashing?"
He says, he's not even paying attention to you anymore. He says, all right, boys, we have an upstart. Submit them. This is where we will end.
Oh!
Are you sure? Can we just like make today's session like a little, like an hour longer? Does anybody have to get to work like now?
I do have to get ready for work.
We'll just continue without you.
Damn.
Fine.
Yeah, that works.
That got hairy real quick.
Really?
You fucking brought a whip into a situation with an ex-slave, so you had to know where this
Yeah.
was going.
I understand, but this is a lawless country, so whoever kind of. So Ardred Griffer, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lawless country, so it's kind of like whoever's in charge is kind of like the big honcho that.
Sorry, but
everybody's
have
listening
you
to.
met Ireva? She's not about to let herself get whipped.
Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to start a big fight.
All
Didn't mean
right.
to start a fight at your Black Panther party.
You're good. I like fights. It's more people I can kill.
Okay,
All right,
Forrest
guys.
Gump.
So this is where we will end, right in the middle of a tense moment, to say the very least.
Can we have like a midweek session? Is that okay? Because I'm not ready to be done with this right now.
I'm really busy. I have encounters stuff going on this week.
I know.
We'll have to,
I am
join back
joking. I'm
up
just
on
really
Monday.
antsy for the next one
I
already.
get you.
Like,
Yep,
It gives
this
us
is a
lots of time to really think
really
through.
good. Yep.
Are you people willing to kill? I'm going to tell you right now, that Bogluck guy is an 18th of a second from getting hit with Thunder Wave. So,
oh, I've had to restrain Ireva. Trust me. She's too proud. She's too proud to allow someone to threaten her with a whip. Like, y'all know Ireva. Come on.
Well, it's all good.
Yep. We will see what happens next week, Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you,
Yep,
guys.
yep. Otto, I hope you get your computer fixed.
Yeah. Hope you guys
We
have
miss
a
you, Otto.
good rest of your day.
Oh, well, let's imagine if Hawkeye were active during this, she would have sprayed him with
Oh my
poison
god,
already.
she would have. Yeah, she would have been like, excuse me. All right.
poison spray.
I say
They brought her
farewell
rest,
to you
right?
guys. All right, man, that was something. They do not like being told what's what, apparently. So yes, session 7 of Hoard of the Dragon Queen. Forgot the name of the freaking module. Hoard of the Dragon Queen, part 5, session 7 is now done and in the books, and we will be joining next Monday for session 8. And 8 sessions into this is taking a long time. But yes, I also run another campaign every other Sunday. We just had our last session last night for the Scales of War campaign, a 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons. They're going through a adventure called The Lost Mines of Carrick. They're in search of a lost mine of a dwarven clan of Ironfell, is called the Carrick Lode. They have just made their way into a fortress in the desert that looks like it might be that. And that is a very fun campaign, very combat heavy. They had a really great session last night. Make sure to check that out. I will be trying to upload the videos and get caught up in that. Speaking of which, make sure to check out my YouTube and throw a subscribe on there. Throw a like on some of them videos. I definitely appreciate it. As well as for this stream on Twitch. If you like what's going on, make sure you follow. Give me a subscribe if you feel like it. I definitely appreciate that. Any of the support that you guys can throw my way. I really want to grow this stream, grow this community, and really make something awesome and fun for many, many different people out of this. So I have my Facebook page, not super active on that if I'm honest, but I do have a Twitter. Throw me a follow on that. Give me a follow on Twitter. But nonetheless, the last call for drinks has been called. Everybody's lining up around the bar for shots. The last pour. Go ahead and tip those boys back and have a great rest of your day. This has been the Tavern League.